Have you ever had a hunch that turned out to be right? Or a vision in your mind's eye that looked like a sneak peek in the future? That's exactly what clairvoyance is, and you might be experiencing it without you even knowing it. In this video, I'm going to break down how clairvoyance works in real life and how, by tapping into your clairvoyance, you can get a thrill ride. And I'm going to share a true story about Tina, and there's suspense at the end, so watch it until the end to find out how it plays out. One of my clients, Tina, kept seeing flashes of a car stranded on the freeway. At first, she discarded it, but she kept seeing those flashes. What she found later is going to leave you speechless. That is the power of clairvoyance when you can access it. It guides you to the moments you are about to experience. Hello everybody, I am Vaishali Nikhade. I'm an engineer turned psychic with over 9,000 readings, and I show you how you can leverage the power of stars for your love life. In this video, you're going to learn what your 5 senses are hiding from you, the science and magic of the 6th sense, the mystery behind clairvoyance, tapping into clairvoyance, and the climax of a clairvoyant vision in real life. Your goal is to regularly flex this muscle so that you can tap into your own clairvoyant abilities. All right, so let's get into it. The first part is what your 5 senses are hiding from you. So all of us, or most of us, are born with 5 senses, and each of these senses have a particular function in our life. However, there is a very subtle difference. Well, it may not be so subtle, but there is a very significant difference between the 5 senses as well as the 6th sense. And I'm going to demonstrate that to you. All right, so as far as the 5 senses are concerned, let's just take one sense, and we are going to take the sense of vision. So think of it as an eye. It's not very pretty, but think of it as an eye. And with your eyesight, with your eyes, you have the sense of vision. However, there is a limitation to this sense, in the sense that as far as your vision is concerned, it can only access what is in front of it. Another way is it can only access the information in present time, and that too, it is limited, which means that it is bounded by a certain region or a certain area. There is only so much that your vision can see. It has a range. So I can see from here until however far I can see. And then as things go forward in time, what happens is that the vision is getting blurry, which means that you don't really see as many details as you can see for something which is very close to you. So that is the sense of vision. The important thing to understand is that you can only see whatever is within the range of the vision, and you can only see it in present time. And this works for all the other senses. It works for your nose, it works for your mouth, it works for the feeling or the skin or the touch, and it also works for your ears. As far as your ears are concerned, you can only hear a sound if it is happening in present time, and there is a certain range over which you can hear the sound. Beyond that range, you're not going to be able to hear the sound. So that is the 5 senses and the limitations of the 5 senses, which means that essentially they are bound by time and they are bound by range. So those are the two things. They're bound by time and they're bound by range. And this is going to make a huge difference when I start to get into the 6th sense. Okay, so now let's get to the 6th sense. So the 6th sense is very different from all the 5 senses, in the sense that the vision which you had with your physical eyes, with your normal eyes, The sixth sense does not have that kind of a vision. The sixth sense has a different vision. Remember, I told you how our physical vision is bound by a range, which means it is range bound, which means I can only see so much within a certain distance. However, the sixth sense does not have that bound, which means that it can see anything beyond a certain distance. One of the ways, so as you start developing your sixth sense, essentially it means that you can essentially see through space, which means that if I'm sitting here, let's say I'm in California and I'm sitting here in California, I can just close my eyes and tap into my sixth sense, and then I can actually go and see what is happening in maybe another part of the country, maybe what is happening in New York. I could see that, or what is happening outside the US, what is happening maybe in some other country, what is happening in, let's say, Europe, or what is happening in India, or what is happening in Africa, and so on. So that is one of the restrictions of the physical sense, which our sixth sense does not have. Now we come to the second part, and then the second part is, it is your physical vision. So these are your eyes, and your physical vision is only bound to present time, which means that I can only see what is happening in present time. The sixth sense does not have that limitation. It can see what is happening beyond present time. So essentially, think of it as it can have access to the past, it can have access to the future, and it has access to the present. Which means that after tapping into the sixth sense, you can essentially access a lot more information than you would if you're just using your naked eyes. So this is the significant difference between the five senses as well as the sixth sense. Clairvoyance is one of the abilities of the sixth sense. So go ahead and put in the comments below if you've ever had any experience with your sixth sense. So now we move on to the mystery behind clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is essentially made of two words. The first word is clair, and then the second word is voyance. So it's actually a French word. So you can split it into two words. The first word is clair, and then the second word is voyance. And then clair means clear and voyance means vision. And essentially together, clairvoyance means clear vision. Clear vision, however, it refers to clear vision beyond the five senses. It is talking about the ability to see clearly beyond the five senses, or it is talking about the ability to use this vision to tap into the past and also to tap into the future. All of us are born with clairvoyance. It is an ability we have since birth. However, most of the people, they do not really exercise or flex this muscle, and because they do not exercise or flex this muscle, they don't have as much access to it as somebody would have who is regularly flexing this muscle. If I ask you to think about your dream car, would you be able to look at that dream car? Or would you get a vision of that dream car in front of you? That's exactly what clairvoyance is. It is your ability to see this mental image picture, which means it's not really existing in front of you in real time. However, it is existing somewhere, because you probably saw it in a movie, or you probably saw it in a magazine, or you probably saw a car in a parking lot. Somewhere you saw this and then you said, oh, that is going to be my dream car, or that is my dream car. And when you regularly exercise this muscle, you'll have access to visions of what's about to come in the future. Of course, you can access the past, but most people are not interested in the past because the past has already played out. What most people are interested in is kind of wanting to know what is going to happen in the future. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button if you were able to close your eyes and see the dream car in front of you. All right, so we come to the next part, which is tapping into clairvoyance. So like I mentioned before, clairvoyance is a muscle that can be flexed. So think about like going to the gym. If you go to the gym and lift weights, then essentially you are building up your muscle or you're flexing the muscle. Let's say that you're going to a gym on the first day and the instructor is teaching you how to do back squats. And you've never done back squats before, so maybe you just do a back squat with a 10-pound empty barbell. So now you get the feeling of what it is like to flex this muscle so that you can do a back squat. And now let's say that you go there for, let's say, 1 week and then 2 weeks and then 2 months. Every time you go there, you're going to up your weight. And every time you're doing that, you're flexing the muscle and making it stronger and stronger. So let's say that you started the year with 10 pounds. By the end of the year, you could be at, let's say, 50 pounds or 100 pounds, depending on how much work you put into it and how often you do it, and so on. And clairvoyance works similarly. The first day, if I ask you to look at the vision, you probably won't be able to see anything, or you'll say, oh, I don't see anything, I don't see anything, kind of a thing. Okay, maybe I just see like a huge big blurb of a car. I don't really see the car. So that would be like on day 1. And then you keep doing it for a week, and then maybe you can start seeing something more. And then you keep doing it for a month and you see more details. And then as you keep doing it, essentially it is similar to going from 10-pound weight to 100-pound weight. But in case of clairvoyance, what it would mean is essentially you would get more details of what is going to happen, or you would be able to access more information of what is going to happen. Now, one of the ways to access clairvoyance is through meditation. And Tina is the subject of this video, which is like a real story with a fake name, you know the drill. So Tina was actually kind of sitting in meditation. This was her practice, and I'm going to share a story of how exactly she got these visions and what it was related to in real life. So if you would like to activate your sixth sense, then I have a free gift and the link is below, so you can kind of click on that link and see how you too can activate your sixth sense. And like I mentioned before, it is just like lifting the weights or doing those back squats. You go from 10 pounds to 100 pounds. And every time you do it, you get a little bit stronger and a little bit stronger, and you can up the weight. Okay, so now we come to the next part of the story, which is the climax of a clairvoyant vision in real life. So Tina was traveling. So let's say Tina lives in, I'll just pick Los Angeles. And so Tina was traveling. So this is where she lives. So this is her home. And she was traveling. She actually drove down. And this city was about 1,000 miles from here. So what we are going to do is, I'm just going to pick a city, and let's say it's Portland. So let's say that she was traveling from LA to Portland. Okay. And what she did is she was in Portland for some work, and she had this practice where she used to do meditations twice a day, once in the morning and once in the evening. So she was going to leave for home the next day. So before going to bed that night, she did her meditation. So here is the night before, and here she's just doing her meditation. So when she was doing this meditation, what happened is she saw a vision, and the vision was pretty prominent. And what she saw in the vision was she was on the freeway, and then this car was stranded on the side of the freeway. So let's say this is a car. It doesn't look like a car, but let's assume for now that this is a car. So she saw this car she saw this car which was stranded on the side of the freeway. And she kept looking and looking, and it wouldn't go away. So she just discarded it as, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm just too tense because I have to drive tomorrow, or maybe she felt like she was tired from the day. So that is the night before she was going to start driving. Now we come to the next day. So this was the night before. Now we come to the next day, and what she does on the next day is she does the same thing. So this is the morning. So let's say it's 5 a.m. She was going to start early. So this is 5 a.m. and at 5 a.m. she gets up and she sits in meditation. And as she's doing her meditation, she sees the same scene. The car stranded on the side of a freeway. And now she is getting scared. She's getting scared because she has a long drive ahead of her, and if something happens on the freeway to the car, then obviously it is just going to skew everything over. So what exactly happens now that she has access to her clairvoyance and she's tapping into her clairvoyance? She's seeing this vision of the car stranded on the freeway. She's a little bit scared. So she and I are actually friends, and she just casually called me and she told me that, oh my God, I'm seeing this vision. So what should I do? And I was looking at it with a different sense, or I wasn't using her clairvoyance, I was using my clairvoyance, let's say. So I looked into it, and I told her that it's possible that her car may break down. And this made her a little bit concerned. So now she knows that the car may break down, so the vision that she's seeing is probably like her car. So now she's concerned. So what exactly does she do? She has to drive from Portland back to LA, let's say. So what does she do is she changes her plan. So she's saying that, okay, my car is going to break down, and it is not going to go all the way. So I need to swap my car. So it is so early in the morning, most of the car rental companies weren't really open. She had rented a car because she wanted to be kind of driving a rental car rather than driving her own car. So most of the car rental companies weren't really open. So what she does is she goes from here and then she drives a certain distance, and here she comes across like a big town. And in this town, what she does is she swaps her car. She goes to the rental company, and then she tells the rental company that she didn't really feel safe in this car and she wanted a different car. And the rental company was more than happy to oblige, and essentially she swapped her car and got a new car. And then she was driving down the freeway. Now, if you've ever driven down this freeway, it's the Interstate 5. Most of the cars over there, they are going at a very high speed. So the initial car that she had, it was, let's say, it wasn't that sturdy, or it wasn't that stable to be able to kind of withstand such high speeds on the freeway along with the wind blowing and so on. So she felt really good that she exchanged her car for a bigger and a nicer car. Now, as she was going down the freeway, somewhere in here, she actually sees this scene, which is she saw a car stranded on the side of the freeway. It was a black Mercedes. And she just started kind of putting her hand over her head and thinking, oh my God, this is exactly the vision I saw, and this might as well have been my car. Which means that if she had not exchanged her car, then she could probably the one standing here on the side of the freeway on the interstate. So that's exactly what her visions were telling her, and that's what she saw. Now, she was a smart cookie because she actually went and exchanged her car, and she kind of avoided that incident. So that's exactly how clairvoyance works. So the visions kept coming to her over and over and they won't go away. And it was just a hint for her, or it was her sixth sense telling her that the car she was driving wasn't really safe and she needed to go and swap that car for a better car. And that's exactly what she did. So if you are curious to tap into your own clairvoyance, I've created a free guide for you to help you activate your sixth sense and start tapping into your own inner visions. You can go and click on the link below and you will be able to access this guide. So this is as far as clairvoyance is concerned. So now, how exactly can you tap into your sixth sense if you're looking for an answer for something? That is the subject of my next video, and I'll see you in my next video.